Okay, so now things are starting to move a little bit too fast for my taste. All in all, this was not a bad episode. There have been certainly far more rushed episodes, but I'm starting to feel like we're missing some things. Like, there's pieces and just gaps that are very present in this episode, and it's not too detracting of the overall story, but again, it's noticeable. I could tell they're trying to get to a certain point. Again, this wasn't a bad episode. I actually liked a lot of scenes in this episode. I love the gay bar club scene or whatever. That whole part was really, really cool. I really dug Ash's, like, flashbacks to those dark days. I thought that was just really interesting, really just, like, eerie and just gross, and it's something that I think Banana Fish does really well. It's not just for shock factor. There's actual development within the character that involves these shocking things, and I like that. I think that Mappa has done a good job at playing that card and not overusing it, not banking on it too much. It's been something that's been kind of subtly throughout the series, and it's done well here. I really like that scene. There's some good comedy in the beginning when they first walk in, and Fox's introduction there, his first interaction with Ash there, and then connecting that to the end line, I thought was just really, really cool. I thought that was a really good idea. There's a lot to love in this episode. One of the best parts about this episode is sort of this couple scenes later when Max burns those pictures. Just that whole conversation, I really, really liked. Ash and Max, I love their sort of chemistry that they have. I love the kind of jokes that they tell between each other, and even just their beginning interactions. I feel like out of all of the characters, Ash is like sort of interacted with him the most in a way. Obviously AG definitely plays a part there in interactions, but like Max has had a little bit more to do in the story, he's been there through all of this stuff, and it's really interesting to see that relationship kind of develop throughout the series and kind of bloom here in this episode. I thought they did a good job of showing that they've come a long way, and I like seeing Max, carry that weight and say, hey, it's time to move on. We're done with this. And he burns it. You need to move on. It's time. Let's heal. Let these scars heal, basically. And I dug that a lot. The action sequences in this episode were top notch. The action in this series as a whole has been very, very good as of late. The last few episodes have been really kicking it, and this episode is no exception. I thought that the action was really, really just fun and kind of frantic, and that's kind of this whole episode. The whole episode is kind of fun and frantic. It's kind of weird because, again, we're moving really fast, but for some reason it's working. It's kind of clicking with me. I don't really know why. It kind of feels like we're just jumping in. We're trying to just tell this story. It almost feels like, I don't know what word to use. I don't want to say like flashback. It kind of looks like someone's telling the story. It kind of like feels like someone's telling the story and they're just giving us the cliff notes, the beats, the more important parts. And I kind of like that. Again, I'm sure there's things missing that are a tad bit crucial to the story, and definitely, the series benefits to having those things, but I think that Mappa is doing a good job of directing these episodes and again putting in those important beats, and I like how frantic it all is. I like how we're kind of all over the place in this episode. It's kind of fun to watch. In the beginning, we're rescuing Singh's guys, we're rescuing them. I really love that scene. That's another great action sequence. And then we're dealing with the gay bar stuff, that scene with Fox, and then and it's all connected somehow, and it's really well done. There's some weird stuff going on with Lao and the rest of the Chinese. Like, I don't know, it is all over the place. It's kind of a mess. I'm not gonna lie, this episode is just ridiculous. I'm sure this is like almost half a volume in just one episode, but it works somehow. I'm not really complaining too much. I see it. I see that there's missing parts. I see that there's gaps, but the way it's strung along and the way it's put together, the way it is directed, I think that it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. Now, I'm sure a lot of manga readers are going to be disappointed in certain aspects to the closing episodes. We only have 3 episodes left. We're coming to a close. Kind of sad about it. But I'm sure there's going to be some big things that are going to be not really there. I don't know if something crazy was supposed to happen in this episode, or, I'm sure there's going to be those moments where you're like, where was that? That should have been there. I think Mappa's going to have a hard time trying to find the right beats to put in the episodes. But so far, in my eyes, going forward, watching this series and not reading the manga, I'm not really hating it. I'm kind of digging it, actually. Again, it's very fun. It's very fast. Just super, super fast. And I kind of dig that. There's a couple of things that I didn't like in this episode. One was Jessica. Like what? Like what? She's fighting alongside of us now? I thought she was kind of like a housewife character. Never really got the vibe that she knew how to use a gun or like, you know, would charge in and fight these people recklessly. Like, who is she and how is she like accepting all of this? You know what I mean? Like before, you know, when we first met her back in LA, she was like, oh no, this is not right. No, you're putting my son in danger, blah, 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 blah. And rightfully so. And in this, she's like, let's go. Like, what? It's kind of a little, like, I don't know. I wasn't really feeling that. I'm sure, again, there could have been stuff in the manga that kind of bridged that gap between that moment and this, and it would have made a little more sense in context of the story. But we're not really getting that. She's kind of like fighting alongside everyone. Just feels a little bit weird. Again, the action is very frantic and fast. Kind of wish we slowed down on a couple of things. I kind of wish that they focused in on a couple of more scenes when characters are pinned down behind walls. I kind of wish that those scenes would play out a little bit longer. They're just a little bit fast. And also, I think that MAPPA is doing a good job of animating this show. But I kind of want to see them, before the end of this series, I kind of want to see them go all out again. I want to see some Sakuga. It's been a little while since we've seen like a big cut in this series. I think really it was like the second episode, I think, when they were going to rescue Eiji. There was some stellar direction and some stellar animation in that episode. The stuff that they were doing with the point of view, like moving it in when like Shorta was jumping off the truck. I absolutely love that scene. I still think about it sometimes. I want to see some stuff like that. I feel like that this would have been a good time to do it. But, you know, I'm sure there's going to be a scene towards the end of the series in the next 3 episodes where we're like, wow, MAPPA, good job. But again, it's okay. I think that they did a good job of directing it and just framing out the action. Again, it's very fast and frantic, but they do a good job of just kind of capturing it all and having it make sense to the viewer. I feel like a lot of series, especially with gunfights, it's easy to get lost in gunfights, and especially in animation, but it worked here. It worked. There was a lot of it, and it was cool. I didn't really get the vibe too much of Kane's men. Just characters dying that we don't really even know. That's kind of another side effect of rushing the story, is we don't get to connect with the side characters very much. Also, Bones, the pink-haired dude, one of the main comedic reliefs that we've had throughout this series. He gets shot. He's hurt, and the other guy's like, Bones, no! I'm like, I just realized we've never heard that dude's name. That dude's name has never been spoken in this series. Not that I can remember. And I just thought that was really funny. I think that it's tough. It is tough. MAPPA is definitely fighting an uphill battle with, you know, manga readers that you know, want to see all this stuff come to life, and just in general of creating a cohesive storyline here with, you know, so much to work. They have too much to work with, and they have to fit it all just in a couple of episodes. It's definitely, I don't envy them, for sure. This is a daunting task, and again, they're doing enough here that is satisfying me as a viewer. Great action, really, really snappy dialogue. You know, that's something that I really love about this series. Even just the beginning of the episode, opening up with Ash and Eiji kind of talking to each other about him going back to Japan, about him missing it, and the little good luck charm or whatever. But it's for lovers. That airhead. Like, I really like that kind of stuff. It's really funny. It adds humanity to our characters, and when all this crazy stuff is happening, that is meaningful. That adds so much. Just those little moments there, I very much enjoy. Kane in the series as a whole, I didn't even think that he would be in the show this much. I love Kane. I want to see more of Kane. I wish that we got more of him in this episode. I kind of want to see, like, I want to see something through his eyes. You know, I want to see him kind of, I don't know, I want him to have a scene, you know, and I wish we kind of got more emotion out of him in the episode when seeing his comrades, his men, dead. Literally, one dude's arms were chopped off and he was smashed against a wall. Like, that was brutal. One of the most brutal deaths we've seen in the series. And he's just like, oh man, how dare they? Like, I would be on my knees crying. I mean, Kane, he's a big boy. He's seen some stuff before, but just kind of wish that we saw a little more emotion out of him losing those people. We saw Singh in this episode. I mean, he's a kid, but we see him. He's overreacting to his men being captured. You know, he's hurt and he wants to rescue them. And I'm scared what's going on with Lau and the rest of his men. I'm curious what kind of deal they signed with Lung to get them out of there. There's something wacky, something fishy going on there. I remember praising Lau in last week's episode, and a couple of people in the comments were like, yeah, Lau is not a cool character, just a little FYI. So I'm kind of scared to find out what that means. I'm already getting kind of iffy vibes from him, but it's just, I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to follow all these characters. It's fun to see them have these moments here and there. I am very curious where we're going now. This is not a direction I expected. Fox in this episode. Fox as a character, I wasn't really expecting. Kind of dig him. Kind of dig his design. Kind of dig his, like, that last line really just resonated with me. I really love that last line. Dude, that callback was just so good. This was a good episode. I enjoyed it. Although a little rushed, kind of wonky here and there, it was fun to watch, and that's what's most important when it comes to any form of entertainment is, are you enjoying it? And I am. I think that they did enough here. I think Mappa's doing a good enough job to make it work and, again, add cohesion. So yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. You know, if they continue episodes like this, if the next 3 episodes feel super rushed and frantic and fast, I don't think that you're going to get that resignation from viewers. I don't think they're going to you know, connect with that. You know, when things are super fast, it's hard to feel the emotion of all these big things happening. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary these next couple of weeks, but it'll be fun, and I'll be there to talk about it. So yeah, speaking of talking about it, make sure to comment down below and give me your thoughts on this week's episode of Banana Fish. What did you think of this thing? It's kind of wild. It's kind of weird. Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you like what I had to say, if you like this video, if you think I'm cool, subscribe. You could do that. It means a lot to me. I'm trying to get 1.3K before the end of the year, 1,300. I can do it. I need 15 more subscribers. You can do it. You can help me realize my dreams. But yeah, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy my content. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this specific video. And until next time, happy holidays. Bye-bye.